Good evening, everybody. 16 days left till Shmita ends for this year. I hope everyone's doing well. I had a wonderful day today. Went to the zoo, got rained on because the zoo's in the middle of the jungle, so it tends to rain. And just enjoyed time with my family like I always do. But yeah, counting it down. Time is coming quick. When to shift. How you doing? Refined hayseed appellation. Counting it down. Cheers, Randy. Hell, it's about time. So, Randy, what are you saying? There will be an epic crash in the market at the end of Shmita? We already have an epic crash in the market this year. At the end, we're just going to get the icing on the cake. Dr. Chico, Randy, what's up? Enjoying some delicious barbecue ribs as I tune in. Oh, man, nice. Fat boy love ribs. What's up, Hex fam? Hey, Blaine. Ted. So, real estate market is looking really rough right now. If you guys haven't noticed. And I got a pretty good video to go with it. This gentleman that I follow, he is called the Economic Ninja. And it was one of our gents in the chat. They were there last night. I can't remember, something Peep. I can't remember his actual account name, but he's the one that put me onto this guy. This guy is, hey, Marion, this guy's been right on target. He's saying everything I'm saying, but he goes on and does a live stream like twice a day, 5-10 minutes, just saying what's going on. Pulse J and Bobby says, I feel the dumps incoming. Me too. It's getting kind of nuts. I mean, how much worse can it get? Around the world, things are like so upside down, topsy-turvy, whatever you want to call it. Things seem pretty normal here in Panama, but prices continue to rise at the grocery store. Gas prices are dropping. That's nice to see. But what they did is diesel prices they were always cheaper the whole time I've been in Panama. And then when they were quelling the riots earlier I think it was in August, when Panama was in mayhem, in order to get the people to calm down, they had to lower the gas prices. So what they did is they added 20 cents a gallon to diesel and they lowered 20 cents a gallon to gasoline. So what that translates into is inflation, because what do you think the truck drivers are going to do? They're going to pass on the cost of that diesel onto the produce. Fucking dumb, man. People are dimwits. It's because people don't pay attention in school. They don't understand. If you take from somebody else has to pay for it. And that's what's happening here. You know, stuff's getting more expensive. And they're like, why is it getting more expensive? Well, it's cheaper to put gas in your car. Yeah. Mr. Prophet, what's up, peeps? Hey, Randy, thank you for another lesson. I really appreciate you. No problem, TexHex. What's Hex again? Thanks again for more alpha. 420. What up, fam? Human hex trafficker. Okay, so let me put up this video really quick that this gentleman, his name is the Economic Ninja. Go follow him on YouTube. Puts out some good stuff. And this is from today. And this is him talking about what's happening in the real estate market. And don't mind his thing that he does. I find it annoying, but that's how some people believe that get your attention.
Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I know you're not going to believe this one, but interest rates, mortgage rates on real estate is about to come down. I know, it sounds crazy. Just when you thought you'd heard it all, that's what's coming out in the big mainstream press. This is going to be out of USA Today. I'm going to talk just about it just a little bit, and then we're gonna go over it. But first, guys, can you do me a big favor? Two things. The Economic Ninja has another channel. It's a backup channel, and it is primarily about real estate, but it's going to start to move into other aspects of the economy. It is called Real Estate Ninja. If you can do me a favor, I'm gonna put a link below in the comment section to that video on that channel. please go check that out. Hit the subscribe button because you just never know. Second thing, for everyone that bought the Side Hustle course, there's a new lesson just got uploaded last night on the real estate section, on the real estate portion, and that is my favorite real estate to buy, what I'm gonna buy in this next crash, okay? And then there you go, let's just dive right into this. So, mortgage applications are down 23% from a year ago. Think about that, that's huge. What does that mean? It says climbing mortgage rates have been dampening the red-hot pandemic housing market for a few months now. Sellers are slashing prices while buyers are sitting on the sidelines. Home sales are falling through, contingencies are back, and bidding wars have become more of an exception than the rule. And that is absolutely so true. What's crazy is that this pivot came really around the 1st of June, end of May, 1st of June, and it is accelerating at a pace that I didn't even expect to be this steep. And I can't wait to watch what happens by the Christmas season, because Christmas season, I've always bought my real estate then. It's the best time to buy real estate because most people care about putting up their tree and what they're buying that they can't afford on Amazon, where I'm trying to buy real estate. That's my favorite time of the year to buy. That's just personal. Have a lot less buyers in the market, right? But I don't think we're gonna hit the bottom in December. I think it's gonna take much longer than that because it's gonna take much higher mortgage rates, and that's what we're about to talk about. It says the most recent evidence of a cooling housing market comes in the form of mortgage loan applications, where they were down 23% the week ending September 2nd than the same week a year ago, according to Mortgage Brokers Association. Now think about that. A year over year is very good. Is a very good way of being able to define where we are in a market, right? Especially when you're talking about today's mortgage rates, where we just crossed over 6%, right, for a 30-year fixed, as opposed to last year when we were down below 3%. Now to think about that, first you go, wow, that's pretty shocking actually that mortgage applications are down that much, right? They're down that much, even though, or not that much. It would seem that 23% is nothing when you start talking about double the mortgage rate, right? You'd think it would be down way more than that. But I want to remind you that inventory was so thin last year, last September, inventory was so thin. Now we have an explosion in inventory, and you're going to start seeing those numbers coming out in the National Realtors Association is going to start putting out those numbers where you will see actually more homes closed now than back then. And the reason why is because there's so much more available on the market. Okay, so think of it that way. It says mortgage applications to refinance a home loan fell another 1% for the week and were 83% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Now that makes a lot of sense, because why would you refinance your house at a much higher rate when you have a lower rate, okay? And if you think about it, the people that are doing that, that's scary because that means they need money. And that is a good barometer of the economy. Now it says, I'm gonna get down to this loan part, 30-year. Oh, that's right. They did not say it. Here we go. Housing demand. Okay, here we go. Housing demand. Home prices rose $374,500 in the second quarter of 2020 to it rose from $374,000 to $525 in the second quarter of 2022. Okay, a year over year snapshot, and that is absolutely monstrous. Matter of fact, we didn't even see that kind of on a percentage basis home price rise in the early 2000s. So when you compare now and the early 2000 run up and downturn, totally different. That's why I said this economic downturn is going to be absolutely massive. Sorry guys, I'm sweating like crazy. Just got out of the gym and I cannot cool off. But it is absolutely blowing my mind. Now, think about this. And I want to go back to the beginning of this, and this is what really upsets me. In the article right here, it doesn't talk a lot about will mortgages come down, but what it blows my mind is the header. Like, when you turn on your phone and you look at the actual news article, it's actually different. And to get your attention, now think about this, as I know it's backwards, sorry, but this is what it says up here. Mortgage applications are down, will mortgage rates come down? When you hit the actual article, and it comes up here, and you're gonna see it because I'm gonna link it below. It's actually entitled, Mortgage Applications Are Down from a Year Ago. What does that mean? You see, the point is right now, there is so much news about real estate that news companies are trying their hardest to grab your attention, so they're doing that. It doesn't even really talk about that at all in the article. Now think about how crazy that is. That should show you right now how big of a deal this housing market turn is, and how big of an opportunity this is going to be as the foreclosures really start to pick up in pace. All right, guys, want to let you go here. You're going to keep it short. Just wanted to remind you, the other Ninja channel, it's going to be in the comment section below. There'll also be a coupon code for the course if you want it. I'm going to continue to update that course with new lessons. Once you're in, you're in. And once those coupons are out, the price goes up because I'm about to push out a whole new section mid-October about how to use social media not only to make money.
All right. Now, he's got over 250,000 subscribers on YouTube, the Economic Ninja. Go follow him. Great content. Every day he puts something out. And it's not just real estate. Some days he puts out stuff about the economy. Sometimes talks about, he did a whole video on Shmita. Like I said, all of his information wasn't 100% correct, but that's okay. Either is mine. We're all learning. Excuse me. So what do you guys think about that? Glad I sold my property last year. Yeah, you definitely did the right thing. You guys, everyone sold. I sold mine in 2014, and with inflation, the house that I sold, it sold for 90% more than what I sold it for. I sold for like 79, or right now it's the value of the house about 150. So yeah. They're not selling it though. I also bought Hex at the top, win some, lose some. Hey, just keep dollar cost averaging. Lights out. What's up, people? Bob Powell's that, Randy? Yes, it is. No Economic Ninja. Trenton, what's up? Home has been paid off for years. Yeah. A lot of people care. A lot of people are still paying their mortgages. What's good, fools? Splitting the watch between Shmita and UFC fight night. Way to go, Paul. Damn, crazy info. Yeah. Hey, MJ Money showed up with the 777. Thank you. I'm going to be like Jake and everyone just start putting the 777s. False X, same here, man. More pain to come. It's going to be just like 2008 all over again. So it's going to take some time for that the interest rates are going to go up. People aren't going to be able to afford their mortgages. They're going to go into default after about 3 months. So this stuff takes time. And we could see, I don't know, how long is that going to take? So if people start going into default, say January, February, that's when it's really going to start getting nasty for housing prices. Are we going to see some Hex on foreclosure? We're getting to that. Randy, how do you remove emotion and take profits in bull runs as you did with Hex? I just had a plan, and that's what's cool about the stakes. So if you stake your ladder out, and you only plan to sell if it hits a certain price, that's all I did. And my stake that I had multiple stakes that were coming out within a 4-month period, and one landed perfectly when Hex was 44 cents. So I took that, sold it. But the great thing is now is with the launch of Pulse Chain coming soon, we shouldn't have to sell our Hex anymore, and be able to stake an HSI on Hedron and putting those Hex out for 55.55 and getting ICOSA for them and staking my ICOSA to get Hedron. There's no real reason to have to sell Hex anymore because I could just sell my Hedron. I don't know. We'll see how it's going to come out. Or turn out. I have a bunch of ICOSA stake right now. I'll see how the results are after this first big 90 days for these HSIs to be on auction. We'll see how that turns out because I'm excited to see what happens. Grant Cardone says March, April will be the bottom in real estate. There you go. Grant, thank you for listening to me. Grant and I have been friends. We were on Google Plus together back when his early days. You're talking 2011 and 12. I was one of the first people to follow him and engage with him, and he engaged with me. We used to communicate on Google Plus, and now he's a big famous guy in the real estate world. I guess he already did well for himself prior to social media, but I think it was, what was his name? Charles Fuchs. If you guys don't know Charles Fuchs was, he in the 15, 16, 17 market, Charles was a pretty big influencer, and he joined Steemit, and he was friends with Grant, and he got Grant to come join Steemit. And that was cool, a cool little period because, like I said, we were on Google Plus together, and then he came over to Steemit. Charles, I don't know where he went, man. He kind of disappeared. I've known Charles going back since to 2006 and 7. He's a Asian guy that lives in Las Vegas, and he's always we used to call him Silver Stacker because he used to stack all his silver and take pictures of it. And that was before crypto, and then he got into crypto the same time I did. But he's kind of disappeared. Is there going to be anywhere on Pulse Chain to play sports bets? Yes, I think Pulse Pot's going to handle that. I'm pretty sure that's one of the things they're working on. I couldn't imagine trying to buy a house or find an apartment right now. Crazy. Yeah. Not here though. The prices in Panama keep dropping, and we are US dollar standard. So, but we had about 13 years of the market going up. So Panama needed to slow down. And because less expats are moving here, Panama's been really slow moving on the testing front. You still have to get tested to come into the country for the stuff that happened the last couple years. But most countries in Central America are not requiring that. Panama still is. It's ridiculous. And they said they're going to get rid of it soon. I think once they do, a lot more people will start coming in. But I don't think people have felt enough pain yet to be looking for another place to live, to move outside the country. I noticed that the expats started leaving Panama in 2014, 15, 16, because the housing prices were getting too expensive. Finally, the prices are starting to slowly come down. That penthouse I wanted, I've been telling you guys about, it finally sold. We noticed the lights were on the other night, and I said, "Oh man, maybe it sold." And today I was looking at real estate, and it was gone. I've been looking at that house for a year and a half. I was so bummed. I don't think so, but there's people in the government. They're infiltrated. They're everywhere. I've got another video I'm about to show has to deal with that. What's your secret to a safe immigration to Panama? RH experience sounds terrifying. Yeah, but RH came here with money, right? When you move somewhere in wealth, you make mistakes. You just have to. He had to trust lawyers, and he got a bad one. When I came down, I had nothing. I had $3,000 in my pocket. It took me years to build up my business. When Anna and I got married, we didn't have much at all. And we moved out like an hour from the city, lived in a sleepy neighborhood where our rent was $400 a month. We built a social media business and just went from there. It took us some time. We had a 1997 Toyota RAV4 that got us around. It was even a stick shift for the first couple of years of our marriage. And then Steemit hit, and that was our first big change in wealth. And, that was in 2016. So it took time. People think it's so easy just to move down to a place like this. You cannot move here and expect to survive if you need to work. So you better come down here with some money in your pocket or some Hedron divs or Hex divs or something. And I would recommend at least $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month through. So if you have $24,000 a year, you can move to Panama. You just can't live in the city probably. You could, but you're going to be living really frugal. This apartment's very nice. We spend $950 a month, but you can find somewhere in my neighborhood, a 1-bedroom for $600-700. $2,000 a month, you could do it. You just have to live a little bit frugal. That's all. How much Wisconsin cheese do I need to trade for an apartment there? I was looking at one apartment today. It was $220, and I can actually see it from my place. It's overlooking the park. We like it because it's so close to the park for our kid. 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $220. The penthouse we were looking at was $320, and that was 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it had a huge outdoor patio that we really liked, and that was the whole reason why I wanted it. But yeah, that's in this neighborhood. But if you go down by the water, it gets really expensive. You're talking $500,000, $1 million, $1.5 million. But I don't live in there in the water. I like it here. If you live here, you can just take the subway, Uber. Everything's right around here. You don't need to go far. That's one of the banks there. There's like 10 banks within walking distance of my house. Most of the South American countries have completely dropped back requirements to test. Just need a passport. Yep. Panama's not one of them. Still need the test. I remember you having that, Rav. Yeah. Bring you a platter. All right, Luke Duke. All right. I miss good old American cheese. I really do. All right, I want to show you guys this other video that just dropped, and these guys really creep me out. I hope that people stand up and fight this stuff.
The young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this cabinet, are actually young leaders of the world economy. We penetrate the cabinets. The change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? Take the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset. So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
The next crisis is already waiting for us around the corner, and it is the climate crisis.
Sure it is, Klaus. Yeah, and there was, I don't know if you guys saw the video where the CNN reporter or journalist, whatever you guys want to call them, or prompt reader, whatever they are, he was saying that they're already getting ready to roll out the whole climate thing. And all their talking points for the coming year is going to be about climate. And it's going to push this specific agenda to take away our rights, like personal car ownership, home ownership, those kind of things aside, and be able to control our lives. Yeah, talking about this subject is pretty dangerous with YouTube, but I think, it just needs to be said. So just pay attention to it. They're not going to want us to garden. You're not going to be able to get things like fertilizer. You're not going to be able to buy diesel. It's another reason to live in a country like Panama, because shit tends to roll downhill, and we're lower down the hill than the Western nations, right? So the first ones that they're going to push to get your electric cars and the electric buses and all that kind of stuff is going to be the Western nations. We already saw it when we were in Europe. Electric cars were everywhere in the UK, absolutely everywhere. And they were going cashless at the same time. Italy, not so much. We spent most of our time in Southern Italy. Southern Italy was very much like it was when I remember it back in the 90s. Just more clean and a little bit safer. But Northern Italy, up in Padua near Venice, we stayed up there for 2 weeks. Yeah, it was very similar to the UK, very modern, lots of electric cars running around. But remember, electric cars are going to be similar to the central bank digital currencies. They're going to be more like programmable money, but it's going to be a programmable car, right? And when they don't want you to drive, they're going to turn it off remotely, or they're not going to allow you to charge it at your house. They're going to control your house with a smart meter and the smart thermostats with the Internet of Things, and you're not going to be able to charge the car that week because you went over your climate tickets or whatever, your rations for the month. It reminds me when I was in the Navy. I was able to buy a packet of, when I was stationed in Italy, I every month I was allowed to buy 200 liters worth of petrol or gas. And I had a GTI VR6 Volkswagen. I just bought it new in Kaiserslautern, Germany, drove it back down to Sicily, and I was allowed 200 liters. But I lived really close to base. I think I lived about 7 miles from base. So it wasn't that bad. So every month I had extra, like 100 liters. And I used to take those 100 liters and I'd sell it on the black market for like 3 times what I paid for them. So pretty much my gas was free because the Italians, when they would buy gas, they had so much taxes rolled in that the price that they paid was ridiculous. I remember when I was at a gas station one time, I pulled up and there was the gas station attendant and 2 other gentlemen getting their cars, getting fuel for the cars. I think one was a Peugeot 201, which was a really popular car at the time. And they saw my car and they were freaking out. They're like, oh my God, I've never seen a VR6. That's a giant engine. And the American inside me is laughing because we know that's nothing, right? but they were so enthralled. Like, oh my God, can we see the engine? So I popped the hood. They got to look at it and all that kind of stuff. And I just made me think that how privileged we were to be able to have such a thing, and that I was able to buy gas so cheap while they're paying almost 4 times higher the price that I was paying with the subsidized American gas, or the prices that we were getting as an American soldier or sailor when it pertains to me. But yeah, I think there's going to come a time now where your life is going to be a coupon, man, and it's coming quickly. Unless we stop it, or at least slow it down. I think we could slow it down a couple of decades by just not complying and just get outside the system. The further away you get from the belly of the beast, the better, probably in this situation. So let's see what you guys got to say. There we go. Oh, there we go. Any guess on what will happen to gold and silver? I'll get to that for you. Sure. Boom. What's up, Hexicans? Crypto King, how you doing, buddy? It's over in Japan. Eat the bugs. Old clown professor, guy is a nobody. Man, the thing is, though, he's definitely been part of everything for so long. It's so funny he stepped out of the shadows during the in 2020. It's really weird how he just stepped out of the shadows. Came out with his book, The Great Reset. When you shift, gross. Exactly. Lizard Man makes my skin crawl. He needs a good solid block of cheese to the head. Get some gorgonzola. Pow! The coin critic steps up. Paul Sachs is a crisis after a crisis. Your life, as you know, would be crisis. 1 hour away from me, they built the biggest cricket manufacturer. Check ingredients, people, trying to kill us slowly. You know, I saw that. I saw an advertisement where kids were eating chips made of crickets. Yeah, they're gonna do it. Project Veritas. I love those guys. They did a hidden video. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the video I saw. So check that out, folks. Look up Project Veritas and look up the video with the CNN exec. And they were saying that the next focus is climate change, like you mentioned. Thank you, Pulse Gaines. That's exactly the video I saw. Just couldn't remember who put it out. Randy, big fan. By June 2025, top of bull market, does it make a big difference how much Pulse or Pulse X1 holds? What do you think of 50-50? Yeah, that sounds good to me. 50-50 is where it's at, because then you don't care which one outperforms, right? They both should be fine. About gold and silver, I think that gold and silver, when Shmita hit, the end of Shmita hits here, if it's going to follow what it did the other years, it will drop along with the stock market. The paper gold and silver will, but physical gold and silver, the premiums are really high right now. So even if the gold and silver and on the COMEX, the paper one is $8, the physical, you go to try to buy it, you're still going to pay 18. That's just how it's going to be. Same thing happened in 2008. Yeah. If you want to buy paper gold and silver, yeah, you can get it cheap. The price will drop, but remember, there's nothing backing paper and gold and silver. It's like 1,000 or 10,000 to 1 versus a real silver bar or gold bar. So be really careful with that. If you owe taxes, they will program the car to drive you to the PlayStation. MJ money, yeah. Wow, guys. I heard Japanese local commerce is still 70% cash based. Their central said they aren't pursuing CBDCs due to this. Thoughts? Good for the Japanese. Too bad we can't go there and become citizens. Yeah, it's very difficult. You can be a resident, though, or at least try to be a resident. Some with booze rations. Handle of Jack bought $100 and was $15 at the mark. Okay, yeah, right. I made that thing on Twitter a couple weeks ago, where I was asking everybody what booze they would buy in case end times, and over 50% said whiskey. But my mom, the one who grew up with the Amish, said you better buy the vodka, because the vodka can be used for so many things, for making tinctures, for putting it on wounds, that kind of thing, sterilizing equipment, that kind of stuff. I still own all dumb cars. If anyone wants some luxury, I have a 2011 AMG G55 in perfect condition for sale. Wow, nice car. That's old school. Randy, crypto is strongly driven by narrative and how that affects investor psyche. people believe PLS layer 1 will outperform PLSX. Is it possible PLSX is the turtle that beats the rabbit? I think it's the other. No, in the beginning, I think that the rabbit is going to be the PLS, and the PLSX is going to catch up to it. But in the long term, I think that the layer 1 is going to win. When I do that rabbit and the turtle thing, I'm talking about when it launches. But way down the road, layer 1's always win. Because then PulseX will probably have some competition. There'll be other things on the network. And I love competition. Or is layer 1 narrative always doing? Yeah, see, I'm all about the layer 1. But I own way more PulseX. We now have an alternative tally stick system running. We'll make it. Let's do it. Tally stick, shells, something. We got crypto. We now have there, we saw that. Does NFA mean national? I don't know. Where do you see that? Japan has started to ease their immigration since they have a very low birth rate and need people now. Japan, as we know it, will vanish in the near future. Kiyazan, I totally agree. That happens. We saw it happen with the national identity of the UK. Just in the year, I hadn't been to London since 97. I was there for Christmas 97. And going back this time, it was nothing like it was the first time I went. Nothing. This time I spent a total of 2 weeks in London. And it's like going to a United Nations meetup. Everywhere around you is different languages. It was out of control. I was staying in West London, right next to Paddington Station. And man, I thought it was right down the street. It was like the street that was intersecting the road where Paddington is was all Egyptian, other Arab countries, North African. I was like, where am I? Am I in London? I was like, this is crazy. I don't remember it being this way. Yeah, but that's the same thing that's going to happen to Japan if they ease the immigration. And you see other countries in Europe that are fighting it. Poland is fighting a bunch of immigration. Czech Republic, Slovakia, they don't want all the immigration. But others are letting people in. Germany, Austria, they're letting folks in. Switzerland's being really strict. They're allowing people in, but they won't allow you to get citizenship. I look into all this stuff. So watch Nomad Capitalist if you want to get into the whole residency and citizenship stuff. Aaron says, Schwab, I sense a Sith Lord in our presence. Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? I'm so grateful for your real OG knowledge. Thank you, Randy. No problem, freedom for all. Same in Germany from what my buddy says. Yeah, that's why I did mention it. UK, Germany, Italy. Man, when we were in Padua, my wife even made comments about it. She goes, was Italy always like this? I was like, hell no. It was not like this. All these different languages. But Padua, I give it credit because it is a university town, and there was so many Chinese there. Near our hotel, the whole street, Chinese restaurant after Chinese restaurant after Chinese restaurant. I was like, I can't believe this is Italy. Yep. Someone said NFA earlier, not financial advice. Okay. Okay, cool. I get it. I'm just not going to say it. Randy, do you think NFTs will take off on Pulse Chain? Fee sharing on Mintra could be huge for passive income. Sure. Yeah, but I sacrificed for Mintra. I actually sacrificed more for Mintra and Liquid Loans and Fiat.io than I did for Pulse Chain. Just because I thought Pulse Chain was going to be quick. It didn't happen. Not Canada. We've taken everybody. That's why housing is so damn high. Yeah. I grew up across the border. I'm from Rochester, New York. And when I was in college, after I left the Navy, everybody wanted to move to the Canada that was not American. So there's a lot of kids in the university that were all looking to go to Canada that weren't American citizens. They were just residents, refugees, all those kind of people, because of all the benefits they would get if they went to Canada. In the refugee circles, once one person puts the word out that things are really good in another country, they all want to go. That's just how it rolls. Okay, let me pull up the news here. All right, I want to show this. This is about hex, guys. So Trevon James tweeted, so the big hex stake everyone was worried about made $10 million. He sold about 600,000 worth and restaked the rest. Now, everyone was freaking out about this stake. Not me. I don't care. People can do what they want with their money. I don't mind if hex gets, dropped down to 1 cent. It just gives us a buying opportunity. But Motley said, to be fair, he hasn't restaked anything for well over a year. He immediately market dumped any hex that hit his wallet, over 40 million hex at times, actively selling actively selling Hedron. Yes, it would have been dumb if they market dumped 250 million hex, but all his past behavior pointed that way. They sold 15 million. They still had 35 million to dump, potentially 85 million if he pulls liquidity. Those stakes are not set yet. Meaning the hex won't be staked until 6 p.m. the next day, till tomorrow. There's also a bunch of other big sharks with history of dumping with big stakes coming up or liquid hex right around the ETH 2.0 merge. So next week, it could get very bloody. He literally, PulseX says, he literally has emergency end stake in the past and market dumped. Sorry, guys, if you're not a hexkin, so you don't understand what's going on here. But the one thing about crypto that's so cool is that the blockchain is transparent. We can see what other people are doing. We might not know their names, but we can watch them and see how they act. So in the future, we could base decisions of when to sell or when to buy on what these people do. This is the first time in his wallet's history he's deviated from bad past behaviors. You bet your ass I was ready to capitalize if he didn't, but those stakes and liquid positions are not set in stone yet. He has 35 million liquid hex. He single side staked 50 million hex between 4 cents and 10 cents to sell. Pretty responsible overall. I was about to comment that he single sided a ton. Hex has the most amazing game theory. So I love it. I mean, this is what's so cool about Hex. We can see what other people are doing. We can get to know the behavior of certain people in the ecosystem, so you know what they do. Crypto's amazing. In the regular stock market, you just don't know these things. You have no clue what these people are going to do because it's all private. But here, we're public. So we get to pay attention to other people and see what their behaviors are. So he single side staked 4 cents to 10 cents, which means as the price of Hex goes back up, people will be buying his sales, right? All the way up to 10 cents. That's a genius move on his part, because he's not market selling and dropping the price back down to a penny. Because if he did, he'd lose a crap ton of money. He had so much Hex to sell. And there's more big stakes coming out. We do, like I said, Shmita's here around the corner. We could see 1 cent Hex. And someone tweeted that if he was to dump it all on a market sale, it would have dropped Hex under a penny. It would have gave us 0.008. Man, oh man. If it was at 0.008, I would have had to go against my Shmita rule and buy some up. Because that is super cheap. Crazy cheap. Thank you, 420. Coin Critic, one of the Mintra co-founders came and introduced himself at Naga's party. I was impressed to see a founder out in public. Yes, that's great. Yep. Great stream training. I'm from Napoli and Soma Vesuviana. Live in BC, Canada now, but sure miss my food there. I was starving when I came here. Couldn't find real food. Yeah, Napoli's great, guys. Whew. That's for food. I like Southern Italy food. I'm not a fan of Northern Italy food. The further south you go, the better. But Napoli is when it really starts getting good. Especially the pizza, right? That's the home of pizza. I was pretty lemons in restaurants because they kept giving me wedges. I feel like we see zeros. It's possible, Post Chain Poppy. We got so much stuff happening. People are selling, and people are paranoid. So when the fear gets into you, right? When I'm talking about Shmita right now, I'm not trying to make people fearful. I'm trying to get you guys prepared, right? There's a difference. When my mother-in-law calls my wife and she starts spewing that fear, before my wife gets off the phone, I look at her and I say, don't you bring that shit. Because my mother-in-law is notorious because she sits and watches the news all day long. Anything bad in the world, the mother-in-law spews it into the ears of my wife, and I have to counter it. I have to squash it before it gets spoke. I don't want to hear it. I know that things are bad in the world. I read it, but I look at it with a different view. I look at it as an objective view. How can we capitalize on it? So when I come to you guys, I'm doing these live streams. I want to help you. I'm trying to prepare you for what's coming, but do it positively and not make you fearful. But there's a lot of people that are affected by the fear. And these people are going to market dump. They're going to get these stakes. They're going to sell because they're hoping that Hex does dump and they're going to buy it back under a penny. That's not bad. Good for them. But what if Hex does the opposite and goes to 15 cents in the next 2 months? Don't have to do that. You would only miss out on a small amount of profit. So I bought my whole lemon. Italian lemons are huge too. Here in Panama, I actually like ours. You would call them limes back home, but man, they're so delicious. They're not very tart. They're a little bit sweeter. I built my pizza oven here, making some tomorrow. Now that you mention it, Shmita pizza. If you really Randy. Sacrifices live pulse unity. Yeah, I saw there was some sacrifice happening. There's 2 going on right now. Don't speak the fear into existence. Exactly. Wendy Shift is like, don't you do it. Look, there's benefits to growing up in the evangelical church. They taught us that stuff. Like, don't bring evil into your house. Be careful what you watch on TV. Don't be careful, little eyes, what you hear. Be careful, little be careful, eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. Those things ring true in my life, and I've adopted it and brought it in, and I live by that. I even stopped listening to music, a lot of the stuff that's out there. I have been, man. When I was in Italy, I gained like 15 pounds. I think I'm down like 8 or 9 already since we got back. Guys always commented on my weight. I'm fat, man. I'm 6'2", 300. That's I'm just a big mofo, man. When I used to do Aikido back in the day when I was in the Navy, my sensei called me Timber because when I fell, I hit the ground hard. Even when I was in the Navy, I was between 230 and 245, right around that. But yes, I do agree. I need to lose weight, but it's coming off slowly. Same thing with fear pertaining to my wife. My wife can't absorb fear porn and moves on, so I'm forced to monitor my own mouth. Yeah. Smash like, please, guys. Yeah, so that's a good subject to talk about before I go into the charts real quick. Fear is all around us, and it's up to us to choose whether to accept that fear and let it into us, or we repel it or ignore it, right? So one of my youth leaders told me when I was very young, I must have been like 13, 14, he told me, don't watch horror films. I'm like, why? I like Freddy Krueger. I'm talking about, this is the 80s, right? And he was an executive at Xerox. Really nice guy. And he said to me that him and his wife used to watch horror films all the time. And at one point, they realized it wasn't doing themselves any good. They weren't helping themselves at all. So said that once they stopped, their life changed for the better. It's such a simple move, right? And instead of me listening to Megadeth, like I used to love, Metallica, Megadeth, any of those 90s bands that were really rough, 9 Inch Nails, I don't listen to that stuff anymore. It just drags you down. And then you're saying the words out of your mouth. Be careful what you speak. Don't speak it into existence. Allow that song. If you sing some of those words that are in those songs, you're just talking it into existence. Listen to classical music. Listen to positive stuff. Or, the I don't know, just positive music. Get some of that salsa. That's positive. Salsa is fun. I haven't been listening to music radio in the car for about 4 to 5 years, mostly negative. Yeah, listen to talk shows, or there's plenty of cool stuff out there. You went to extravagant. I know, man. It sucks. It's. I've been struggling since I got out of the Navy. I yo-yo, get down to about 260, back up to 320. Now I'm back down to 300. It's crazy. If says companies if you need some weight, Italian food from red blood Italian Napoli food, man. It was terrible. That short time. We were in Italy for 2 months, 1 month or about 5 weeks in Sicily, and then 3 weeks in northern Italy. And man, Sicily just destroyed us. Afraid of two things: running out of cheese or running out of beer. Paul says, I love the metal music still, but it's hard to work out to anymore. All that remains is my jam. Lead singer has been on with Tim Pool before, and it's down with Luke. Yeah. It's hard to give it up, but things that I gave up in my life a long time ago were porn, because it's so violent. And, just because I'm married and my wife wouldn't like it if she knew I was watching it, right? The music, hip hop, and the metal music. I mean, I like 90s and 80s hip hop, not hip hop, but pop music. Sometimes we listen to it in the car, but most of the time we listen to Latino music like reggaeton and things like that, just because my wife likes the beats and stuff. But just getting rid of the negative things in your life, it just improves it. And because I have so much free time to think and stuff now, I could put content together to help you guys. I'm not putting mental energy into watching movies and doing all that. Like, my wife's out, she's watching a movie right now. No fault. She can do that. It's up to her. But I used to watch 4 to 6 hours of TV per day. Now I'm watching maybe an hour and a half. It's great. Life's definitely improved. So jazz is another one. Exactly. Jesus. Being from Canada, I eat to live, not live to eat. Glad I haven't been to Italy. 420. Well, Canada food's not the best. It really isn't. I mean, except for maple syrup. Now that rocks. But being from Western New York, I don't have to go to Canada to get maple syrup. We have our own. Curious thoughts on OMAD diet. I was doing that for a while, and it was great. I felt wonderful. I really did. Stupid Paul, yeah. Trenton, he's got those the old school music. You got the old school hi-fi systems. Yeah, I like turnips with pork. Hey, can't beat that. These streams are great. Okay, Clinton, thanks, buddy. Crypto King, great preparation for bank collapse. Take out money from the banks. Listen to Gregory Manarino and Christopher Green that have been sounding the alarm. Yes. I love you, brother. Keep it real. Thank you, human hex trafficker. Better to watch more hex streams and less TV. Crypto streams in general, you could learn a lot, not just hex, guys. I was 350, cut all my sugar and some light exercise, now 220, no longer have to do diabetic shots. Coin Critic, awesome. That's why I gave up sugar in 2012. I used to love Coca-Cola, right? Everyone does, or a lot of people do. And I'm a nurse, so I understand how things work. And I'm laying there on the couch, and my toes started tingling, like the painful type of tingling. And I said, oh shit. I know what that is. That's neurological damage. So I said, oh my God, I need to stop sugar. Cold turkey right there. Went off stopped drinking sugar, stopped our corn syrup. Here in Panama, our Coke has sugar in it. And stopped adding a bunch of sugar to my coffee, because I used to put a lot of sugar in my coffee. And here we have like the brown sugar, the cane sugar. And just quit everything, and been using stevia and monk fruit ever since. But yeah, it's the other parts of the carbs that kill me. So you guys know what I'm talking about with the neuropathy. Amico Pizza, come over. This is my best friend, guys. I'm like, Amico Pizza is the best. These guys are Sicilians. They're from our hometown. Their pizza is the shit. Mike worked there when he was in high school. You're a dude that is married happily. Tell me with a straight face that VR plus porn doesn't scare you the future of marriage. No. I won't let myself get introduced to it, for one. Nah. No way. I'm lucky. I got a hot wife. And I got a wife that doesn't use sex as a weapon in the marriage. Thank God. I've been down that road, my first marriage. Corn syrup, bad. Vegetable oils, too. Yep. We use mostly virgin coconut oil, because Panama, it's ubiquitous, man. Coconut oil's everywhere here. Smells so good. And virgin olive oil to put on stuff, like put on our pasta and those kind of things after it's cooked. Yeah, we have great seafood. There's a big Japanese flag on the side of the seafood market here, because they ship so much seafood from here to Japan. For breakfast, I have 4 pieces of bacon. For lunch, a bacon sandwich. For supper, I drink my supper. Luke Duke. Yes, that's right. There's nothing like real skin. All right, guys, we're at 10:50. Let me go show you guys these charts before we get too far. All right. All right, let's start off with Hedron here. Still got the green arrow, guys. We got the green arrow on the weekly. And looking good here. Let's go on the daily. We do have the red arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th day. The AI is still saying we're trending down. The DI has stabilized, as well as the price. So Hedron, I'm giving it a couple more weeks, and once the FOMO starts hitting for those the end of the HSIs, price is going to pick up. Hex on the monthly, we still have the red. Like same thing with the Hedron, though. We bottomed out with the DI, but the AI is still heading down. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't think that we're going to get the recovery we want until after Shmita is over. Excuse me. Hex is going to take a dump with everything else. We're at 0.391. I mean, this guy, when he dumped today, he really didn't dump the price that much. The AI is doing really good on the shorter time frame and the weekly. Demand index is still below 0, though. We just don't have enough demand. We need to pick that up. The daily, look at that. Stable coin. And in the AI, we're above, looking good. And man, we're getting close with the DI to cross over 0 on the daily. So if we can get all 3 of those things, this to turn green, this to stay above 0 like it is, and for this one to go above 0, then we might have a nice little pump prior to Shmita. After Shmita, I think everything's got done. Just get your life preservers out. ETH, look, it's getting some pumpage, 1772. The AI, this is the monthly, by the way. The AI is still going down. DI is above. It's going on a short time frame. It went down to 1 day. Still got the green. I got two of these. Sometimes I got too many. So we got the green still. AI is looking nice, and so is the DI. So little situation that we want for Hex, ETH already has it. But going into next week, buy the rumor, sell the news. When are the scalpers going to start taking their money? You know they're going to do it. Might even start tomorrow. Bitcoin monthly, still a sell. AI looks horrible. DI is below 0. I don't see anything good about Bitcoin, guys, except for the small pump that we just got. So on the weekly, we still have the green. AI is above, still below on the DI. So, yeah, Bitcoin's something else. These guys are true believers, and I'm not one of them anymore. And Trenton could tell you, as well as my friend Mike, that I was a big Bitcoin fan for many years. Now I'm just jaded with it. On the daily, it's looking good. It's all positive on the daily, but this could turn around real quick. This is what they're saying about it. Crypto market cap soars above 1 trillion. Bitcoin taps 2-week high. Bitcoin doubled down on its recent gains by surging to a new 2-week high above 21.5. Most altcoins are also in the green once again, with Atom, XLM, which is Stellar, and ICP, the I can't remember what it's called, standing out as the best performers. So the crypto market's looking rough, guys. It really is. It's just positive for a couple days. It's on there, but I really don't know how to use it. And I know that the TD sequential, that's a big thing that, what's his name? I hear my son yelling. He's not asleep yet. The TD sequential, Tone Bays loves that one. I never understood how to use it. Truth doesn't matter, just what you can be perceived as the truth. Yeah. ETH looks good, but Matt, when the traders start jumping out, they're going to start jumping out quick. There's going to be like people jumping out the window. I think we're heading down to $800 ETH after the merge. I'd like to be wrong, but in this situation, buy the rumor, sell the news. Randy's rarely wrong. I've been doing this for a long time. What's up, Z? Thank you. I have a friend named Zuhair from Columbus, Ohio. Good Moroccan friend. And he took care of me back in the day when I first got out of the Navy, him and his brothers. Zuhair, Marwan, Bousfia. They owned a bunch of gas stations. And when I needed a job really bad, I needed a second job, they gave me a job at one of their BP stations. I'll never forget that. Those guys they were awesome. Remember buying LBC votes early on, your library, LBRY. That was me renting, selling the LBC. I bought quite a bit to promote hacks, was messing around to see if there was a market for LBC votes. Coin Critic, I some of my content I put stuff on, but most of my LBC, I have about 70,000 LBC. Those of you guys don't know, that's Odyssey, ODYSEE. The coin is called library credits. So once you're everything that you publish on YouTube, you can connect it to Odyssey and it'll load over there. What I do is I put all of my Odyssey on my channel. So my channel ranks really high over on Odyssey. So I get new followers. I just passed 1,000 real followers. They call them real followers. Overall, I have much higher than that, but there's only 1,000 verified that are real. So I just got that award recently. I believe that you should take all your content, make sure it's over on Odyssey. People will sell their hex this weekend to cover their football bets that they made. Yeah. R and I sold off hot rods and now are buying up clean RVs, just like 98. Nice. That's going to be a hot market if things get as bad as we think it is, right, Trenton? People are going to be looking for a place to live. RVs are going to sell for a premium. What were your stats when we hit all-time high hex at the time? My stance was I sold. I went quiet. So while there was a bunch of people in hex that were out there still shilling, buy. I wasn't. I was real quiet, and I just sold some. It's just like when I did with Hedron recently, back in July or something like that, when Hedron did the first run up, I went on Twitter and I said, look, guys, this thing's overheated. Do not buy Hedron right now. The price is going to come back down. Dude, I took so much heat for that. People were shit talking me, all kinds of stuff. And then within 2 days, the bottom fell out. And I did it again this time. I was on Hex Token Stream, and he asked everybody, what do you think the price is going to be? And everyone had these the recent bottom. They were saying 5 zeros and a 4, 5 zeros, 4, 5. I said 5 zeros, 3, 2. And Hex Token was like, whoa, Randy, if that happens, that's a great buy. Well, it's exactly what happened. It 5 zeros, 3, 1. So if you had your buy orders at 5 zeros, 3, 2, we're back up to 5 zeros, 4, 1 right now. That was, you made 25%. So I'm pretty good when calling them on when something is going parabolic. I'm really good at either staying quiet or telling people that it's time to sell. Thank you, buddy. Exactly. That's what we use our library for. It's looking bad. I'm like RH in that respect. We're both RHs and we're both fat. I'm just a little bit fatter than Richard Hart. He's been dealing with it nonstop. I remember back in the day when he was a Bitcoin maxi, that was always the thing people did to him. Whenever they disagreed with him, they would say things about his weight. I hated that. That's like kids in the playground. And whenever people do it to me, I had a recent argument with that crypto curricula guy and one of his buddies. They were attacking me and attacking my family and stuff like that. And one of the guys said, "Man, you're a fat fuck. You remind me of that guy in the meme with the hot girl that without all of a sudden he's rich." I'm like, "Bitch, man, I've been married to my wife for a decade." What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, it's the first thing people do is they go to that. They go to the weight because they have no other argument. No. The hex bottom is not in 420 hex. I'm going to end up as a breatharian if I keep living here. Come to Canada. It's free starving. Lots of free weight loss for sure. The food here will shape you up to good. My garden saves me. Yeah. Oh, God. How much percent do you have staked in Hex versus Liquid? I have 100% staked right now. 100%. I love you, homie. You were broke level when you met her. Kinda, I had my good job at the time out here in Panama. I was making $3,000 a month. So $3,000 a month here is huge. I mean, At the time, $3,000 a month was a lot of money. And by the time we got married, though, I lost my position. I was just writing, but I was probably making about $5,000 a month just writing articles. I'm a really good writer. For those that don't know, I used to be a big time article writer for crypto and for gold and silver and stuff like that. And I made a lot of money writing. So that fell out too. And so we just had to start doing social media. And my friend, Peter Spina of goldseek.com, I called him up. I said, Peter, I said, thank you for all the work, all the stuff you do and all that kind of stuff. You know, I've known you for a long time. I said, but your social media sucks. You guys do a terrible job. Great website. They were the competitor to Kitco. And I said, do you mind hiring me to join your team? My wife and I will do your social media for you. And he hired me on the spot. That was right after we got married, and he saved our asses. He was paying us $2,000 a month, and he paid us that for 2 years. So it got us back on our feet. I got worried, believe me. I didn't know where money was going to come from after the writing gig stopped. Got real worried. So yeah, Trenton's right. We were broke. All right, guys. Thank you for tonight. I appreciate it. We need 100 viewers again tonight. This is awesome. I'm really thinking I'm going to continue the live streaming. Maybe not every night, but often once social media things done, because that's what we have starting on the 27th. We got the Jubilee. All right. So cheers in Panama.